Okay, guys, new year, new rules, new meta. Tonight we're going to be going over the top 10 characters, my opinion on the top 10 characters in Sparking Zero post patch. A lot has changed, y'all, so we definitely got to get into it. Again, this is just my opinion. This isn't a fact. I would actually love to hear some contention. If you guys have any differing opinions, please leave them down in the comment section below so we can talk it out and figure out what's going on in the new meta. But without further ado, let's get into it. My opinion, top 10 best characters in Sparking Zero. Let's go. Number 10, Super Vegito. Honestly, this could have been contended with Blue Gogeta. I think Blue Gogeta has good buttons. Stardust Barrier kind of acting as a combo breaker is pretty solid. Instant transmission and that unique charge key blast. But I think it would be a little disingenuous to exclude Super Vegito from the top 10 because of After Image. I don't think his buttons are that great. I don't think his supers are that great. But if you're a good player, you can make it work. And After Image Strike, even though if you're a really good player, you can shut that down no problem and get him out of there. You're still able to get a little bit more mileage out of that, in my opinion, than Wild Sense. So I think he's pretty good right here at number 10. I wouldn't move him up. If this were pre-patch, I probably would have put him at 5, maybe a little higher. But I think number 10 right now is a good spot for Super Vegito. Number 9, gotta give this one to Base Gogeta. Kind of funny. I think he's much better than Blue Gogeta, except I think Blue Gogeta's supers are a little bit better. But what boosts Base Gogeta up for me to number 9 is the fact that he's getting an Insta Spark and Wild Sense together. Very dangerous combo. Good buttons, good speed, does great damage, 4 bars of health. You can't go wrong with him. He is a much better character in my opinion than Blue Gogeta, who is a little too gimmicky for my taste, maybe a little too honest. I feel like with Base Gogeta, you're getting kind of a dirtier character because you have the Insta Spark and the Wild Sense. So definitely a dangerous combination. Blue Gogeta, you know, I know they like that little charge key blast that he does, the charge key blast barrage. Honestly, I think that's really gimmicky. You can get around that easily. He's too honest. He's too honest for me to crack a top 10, let alone a top 5. I think Blue Gogeta is outside of the top 10. Base Gogeta is comfortably in the top 10, but not top 5. Good character. Checks off a lot of the boxes. I think he's very comfortably sitting at number 9. Number 8, definitely going to give this one to Ultra Instinct Base Goku. Such a solid character, great buttons. He has the Ultra Instinct gimmick where you can't touch him. You get a Rush Super and a Blast Super together. Always a great combination. You get a Insta Spark as well as a full energy ability. The only problem is he starts off with 3 bars, but if you transform, the gimmick becomes he goes into Master Ultra Instinct Goku, which, spoiler alert, will definitely be higher up on this tier list. But if you start with the base Ultra Instinct Goku and then you transform, you get 1 additional health bar. So it can be pretty gimmicky if you start off with Ultra Instinct Base Goku. Next up, we're going into Beerus. Not as silly as he was before because the ultimate comes out a little bit slower now, but still ridiculous nonetheless. With Beerus, you're getting an Insta Spark as well as a health regen move, both costing 4. You get the meters pretty fast in this game, so it's not that hard. I will say getting the sleep regen or the health regen off pretty consistently can be hard, but it's not impossible. You do get a Rush Super with Beerus as well as a Blast Super. Both are very good. And of course, the unblockable ultimate, even though it's not as good as it used to be, it still can work. It still catches people. It has a big radius, so it'll usually catch people when they're flying around, and it can be very deceptive. Great buttons on top of that. Triple kicks, very solid damage. Excellent character. Just outside of the top 5. Had it not been for that ultimate nerf, definitely would have had him in the top 5 for sure. But I think he's still really good. He has a higher than average defense stat, good speed, Nothing wrong with Beerus at all. Definitely one of the stronger characters in the game. I got him here at 7. Some might put him a little higher, a little bit lower. I think number 7 is pretty fair. Next up, number 6, we got legendary Super Saiyan Broly. This character is not as crazy as he was pre-patch, but still a menace. Definitely causing a lot of trouble out there in the meta. You still got that unblockable ultimate. You get a insta spark as well as an explosive wave, which is a very, very, very good defensive move. One of the best in my opinion, especially if you want to be cheesy and keep people off of you. You really don't have an answer for explosive wave like you do against After Image Strike and Wild Sense. You kind of just have to take it. And I will say this works to his benefit because he's a little bit slower. I find that people have a hard time super countering him because you have to be a little bit more precise. With faster characters, you can kind of spam the super counter out a little bit more and get it a little bit more consistently than you can with the slower characters, because with the slower characters, you have to be kind of on the ball with that. So I think it kind of works to his benefit being as slow as he is, which is not too bad. I think his speed is solid where it is. Any move, any character with the rolling hammer where you get their back, I think is a pretty good one. So of course he's going to jump up on the tier list for me with that. And then you start off with the 4 health bars. You really can't go wrong. You got great supers. You got a rush super, you got a blast super, you got an unblockable. Overall, great character, very solid. Okay, top 5. This is where we get to the real gimmicky guys. Like, I mean, just ridiculous, silly stuff that just is the meta. It is a lot of it game breaking, exploits, all of that. Just plain silly, guys. Plain silly. Number 5, Jiren. Still the man. He's still one of the top guys. I mean, you almost got everything with Jiren. I mean, he's got an explosive wave, which, like I said, you really don't have an answer for. So you got to respect it. When he drops that explosive wave, you're backing off. He can create enough space with that. You get an insta spark. His ultimate is still unblockable, still ridiculous. His keep away game is nuts because of the explosive wave. So the meta right now with Jiren is to keep you off of him, use that explosive wave, use some charge ki blast and ki blast to keep you at bay, and then at some point pop an insta spark and set you up. Now that he's loaded with that unblockable, he can set you up for an unblockable attack that does massive, massive damage. And if you get caught with that, it's pretty much the game. He gets incredible buttons. Every button that you want. You get the triple kick. You get the rolling hammer with him. You get pretty sick supers. He gets the explosive wave super as well as a blast super. Great utility on those. For sure, one of the top characters in the game. Unbelievably good. You can't go wrong with Jiren. Next up, number 4, we got Whis. This guy is just ridiculous. I mean, he's insane. You get the Ultra Instinct gimmick with him, except you don't lose any ki, so you really can take advantage of that. Something about him, just the way his moves come out, they're very deceptive, so they're kind of tricky to super counter. He's just weird to fight, just very weird to fight. This is a very super perception / perception based meta. All defense this meta, so any character with this little Ultra Instinct auto dodge can use super perception or sonic sway better than any character in the game. By far, it just works bread and butter, cookies and milk. It's just too dang good. Absolute defensive masters. Very, very hard to fight, very tricky, especially if you're fighting a good player. It's just these little fundamental mechanics that make them easier to play with, on top of being a good player, can make a Whis just a nightmare to fight. Then to top it off, he's got a 2-bar special, which is ridiculous. It just shuts you down all the time, and he gets it so quickly because it's 2 bars. He can pop it all the time. He gets his own explosive wave called a barrier, even though it takes 3 skill count bars. These explosive waves and barriers are definitely the better defensive mechanics, and especially when you pair it with a character like Whis, who's already hard to get a hold of because of the Ultra Instinct ability. When you finally do get a chance to touch him, he can just pop that barrier, and then you're back again playing that neutral game with him, which he completely dominates in. So he is for sure one of the top 5 characters. I have him here at number 4. Some might put him a little higher, a little bit lower, but I don't think he's outside of the top 5. I think he's for sure one of the top characters in the game. Next up, number 3, I gotta give it to Blue Vegito. I think he's just a powerhouse character, but the real crazy thing about this character is that full power charge. This just has so much utility. Any character with this full power charge kind of moves up the tier list for sure, but because his is 2 bars, 2 skill count bars, you're getting it all the time, which means a good Super Vegito who's good at super countering and good at those Vanish Wars should be winning those the majority of the time, because he's going to have the key advantage most of the time when he's using this full power charge. Not to mention his specials are pretty good. You get a Blast Super as well as a Rush Super, which means if you're in Sparky mode, you can chain these together. Plus, let's just say you're not in Sparky mode, because you have that full power charge, you can just be throwing these Rush Supers out non-stop crazy. His damage is ridiculous. Good speed. This character is for sure one of the better guys in the game. That full power charge just completely dominates. He can throw Ki Blast all day, charged or regular, doesn't matter. He can be played at any range in the game because of that full power charge. So if he wants, he could sit back, full power charge, spam Ki Blast, maybe some supers if he wanted. Up close, because he's got that full power charge, if he's good with the super counters in the Vanish War, he should be winning those. In the mid-range, again, because of full power charge, Ki Blasts are even more effective in this range, so he can for sure spam you as much as he wants. Full power charge just opens up so many options for him, so he's for sure one of the top tier characters in the game. Number 2, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, one of the original Budokai Tenkaichi 3 kings, has now made a name for himself in Sparking Zero. I would argue he's much better in Sparking Zero than he was in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Undoubtedly one of the best characters in the game. He can do pretty much everything. He's got a power up to the very limit. Wild Sense, which is pretty solid and very annoying. You get it so frequently because it's 2 skill count bars. You're pretty much going to always have a Wild Sense loaded. You get a Rush Super, which is unbelievably powerful. Just a few of these can take your entire life, and they're chainable, so he's doing massive damage all the time in all areas of the game. Combos are unbelievably good. He's got all the best buttons. Triple kick on the first rush chain, which means he can open you up relatively easily. He's got the rolling hammer. He's just a powerhouse character, very annoying to deal with. Charge Ki Blast does a ridiculous amount of damage. Just a very, very hard character to deal with. Very ridiculous. For sure, I got him here solid at number 2. I think he's good where he is. I think he just excels in every single area of the game, and he does it at a very, very, very high level. I like him here at number 2. Number 1. This should be no surprise, and I know you guys know what I mean if you fight this guy online. Oh my god. Undoubtedly the reigning champ of Sparking Zero. To me, it's not even close. Master Ultra Instinct is undoubtedly the best character in the game. And look, I said Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta plays and does things at a very high level. In my opinion, I think the gap between Mastered Ultra Instinct and Gogeta is pretty great. I think Master Ultra Instinct is far and away the best character in the game. You may disagree with some of my placements on the top 10. You may say, hey, I got this character over here. Maybe you want to shuffle them around. But if you don't have Master Ultra Instinct at number 1, you're lying, bro. You're lying. This is the best character in the game. No doubt, hands down the best. Excels in every single area to the max. I mean, to the max. To the point where it's like he's almost just cheating. I mean, he's just ridiculous. So, to begin with, we have obviously the Ultra Instinct gimmick. Like I said, this is a very defensive-oriented meta. Super Perception and Perceptions and Sways dominate the game. They're very, very OP. He does it better than anybody. On top of having that Ultra Instinct move, it's just hard to hit this guy. It doesn't matter if you got him from the back or from the front. He just has a way of auto-correcting almost everything. so he's very slippery. A very good Ultra Instinct character is very hard to touch. Plus, to top it off, he does everything that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta does, but better. He's got Wild Sense as well as the power up to the very limit, which is ridiculous. He's got a very deceptive Rush Super that goes full screen. Blink, he's in your face and he's caught you. If you're unaware, there is also a way for him to catch you even more easily. One of the things that he'll do is, if this is the meta for him, he'll wait for you to charge, and as you're charging into the insta sparking mode, once you see that little blue bar, you're actually completely open for a Master Ultra Instinct to catch you with his Rush Super. He'll catch you. These are also chainable. They do ridiculous amounts of damage. So he's just a monster when it comes to damage, defense. He has all the best combos and rush chains in the game. Your triple kicks on the first go, so he'll open you up quick. Massive damage. He's got all of the best combos in the game. Then to top it off, even worse, his keep away game is just ridiculous to the point where it's just like, it feels like you're exploiting the game because the movement mechanics aren't that great. His keep away game is especially nasty. If he were to stand still and throw a charge ki blast, that's actually a really hard move to get around. You kind of have to respect it. It goes full screen. It's a really nasty move. The second you get in on him, he'll probably have a Wild Sense. I mean, there's nothing this guy can't do. He's got a Blast Super. I mean, every single box that you would want to check off to make an OP character, he checks them, and he does them at a ridiculous level. Well, anyway, guys, that's this video. That's my top 10. Again, these are all just my opinions. So, of course, I would love to hear from y'all in the comment section below. Would love to get y'all's thoughts. See if you guys disagree or if you agree with my placements. Also, again, what do you think about the patch? And if you have any other meta tips around these characters that you would like to share in the comment section below, definitely go ahead and do that and we can discuss. And if you want, go ahead and make your own tier list in the comment section below. I definitely would like to see it. I always value you guys' opinions. I love reading them. I read all the comments. So definitely drop one down below and give me your thoughts. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys tapping in with me. I'm going to see y'all in the next one.